some final adjustments, trying to adjust I'm using natural light. Like I think I told you guys before, I love natural light. So I even try to use natural light on my live shoots if I can. I'm getting a little hot on this side. What I might do is, let's see, that's a little hot. I might close that a little bit. Yeah, that helps. Getting a little hot over there. I might even I have a little shade that I use. I can adjust that a little. Oh yeah, that works. Make me a little more dim, but looks good. Looks good. Okay, what's that there? Oh, that's my little sign. I can include that. That's okay. Make sure I'm not showing anything that shouldn't be seen. So we got like 5 minutes. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to adjust my YouTube studio so I can see who's asking questions. I'm going to make that little adjustment. Give me a moment. We still have some time here. I'm going to go to the stream and I'm going to go to the calendar and I'm going to go to this stream right here and I'm going to change it to Sunday Live. Oops, oh, I got to edit it. Sunday Live. Sunday Live, question and answers. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to adjust this, save this, and then I'm going to save it. And how am I doing on time? Okay, we're 2 minutes away. I'm going to step over here for a second. I'll be right back. All right, let's see. That looks good. I'm not getting too much glare, getting a little bit, but I can live with that. Welcome, welcome. We have a few more minutes before we start. Let me see what my timetable is here. Probably like 3 minutes, and I'll be starting. I'm going to break out the, let's see, I'm going to break out my, where is it? Chat. Pop out chat, not breakout, pop out. So I can pop it out here, I can make it a little bit bigger, and then I can see it even better. So if anyone has any questions, I'll be able to read them and answer them much easier. Okay, so yeah, looks a little, let me see if I can let a little bit more sun in. Yeah, that's not bad. It's kind of hitting me a little bit hard on the right. I like to use natural light. Good morning, good morning. We're about to go live in a few moments. This is Sunday Live, the pre-show where I make sure everything is working right, make sure my clothes are right, and I get ready to answer your question and answers. I'm pretty close to the phone today, so I'm not worrying that much about my microphone. Sometimes I use that. I have one of those external microphones, clip-on mics that connect directly to the phone. They're very cheap, and I was worried when I first got one that they weren't going to work very well. The first one I got did work great, and I have another one that oh, okay. So let's see. I'm getting some questions in already. Let's see. Let's see what's saying here. Believe in wisdom. Just stabbed James. You look like James. Yes, this is James Tucker. How are you? How are you? Tammy, little Tammy, how are you? James Tucker here. Hi, hi, hi. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you again. So, let's see. I think it's time for me to start. Whoops. I just made a little error here. Restore my chat. I want to pop out my chat so I can see it better. Pop out chat. I'll do that again. And when I pop out the chat, it's a little bit bigger. So, I'm all set up. Hopefully I don't mess it up again. Hello? Hello? Rambo Randy. Hello, Rambo Randy. How are you? So, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to Sunday Live with me, James Adam Tucker. I talk about acting, directing, and editing. And usually, every Sunday, I come on here and I answer questions. So I'm happy to answer any questions related to acting, directing, or editing. Mostly focus on new people. And if you have anything that you want to know, if you're working on a project, that's the optimum thing. I love to talk to people who are actually working on projects or thinking about working on projects, ways to save money, ways to do things cost effective or easy, ways to get free locations. Let's see, I think I'm getting a few questions in here. Hello, hello. Thank you, guys. Thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Jaguar. Thank you, thank you. Saying I look wise and educated. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I try to answer questions honestly. And using the experience I've had, I've been in this business for over 35 years, well over 35 years. I went to college for radio, television, film production. I also studied acting as a minor. I am a union actor, I'm a character actor. You can find my resume on Internet Movie Database. Look up James Adam Tucker, or you just type it right into Google. James Adam Tucker will pop up. You can see all the films and television shows I've been in. And again, I'm a character actor. Character actor is a smaller actor who's in scenes, has dialogue with the leads, sometimes works one day, sometimes two, sometimes 5 or 6 days. So been acting for over 40 years. One of my first movies was Hairspray that John Waters directed in Baltimore. I had one good scene as a police officer, but continue to act all these years. And I also am a independent filmmaker, director of over 25 independent films that had feature films that have been distributed. Back in the olden days, I say in the 90s and 2000s, a lot of my films were in video stores, Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, that kind of thing. And you can still find some of them online now. Let me see if I have any questions here. Somebody has a question. Rambo Randy, you can go ahead and ask your question. Okay, great. So what I do normally when I'm here on Sundays, I answer your questions. That's the priority. I'll wait till some questions come in. But I also talk about acting, directing, and editing. Today I wanted to talk about something that I haven't talked about that much, directing. And the beauty of, if you're interested in directing, creating your own original programs, YouTube is a great place for you to start. Again, when I started back in college, there was no such thing as YouTube. There was no such thing as really getting your project, even if it was a small film, out to as many people as you guys can reach today on YouTube. So you have an advantage. You have a great advantage. And if you're interested in putting projects together or trying to see if you like directing, you can get a couple of friends together. This is what I always tell young directors and actors who are interested in acting, but they also have a little bit of interest in directing. I tell them, get 2 or 3 friends together. Write a small, simple script. Get your cell phone. Nowadays, I'm actually broadcasting this to you right now off of my cheap Android cell phone. So if you so happen to have one of the high quality iPhones that shoots video, you're right in the right area, the right direction already. You can use your iPhone, get yourself a tripod. You can get a tripod on Amazon with a cell phone holder for under $20. And that's all you need. You just need something simple like that to start. You don't even have to start with external audio. That's why sometimes, actually right now, I'm talking to you using the built-in audio on my phone. I could set up extra mics. I have tons of equipment. But I love to do this because it reinforces how you can actually broadcast here on YouTube with just the bare minimum. And like I said, I like to talk to a lot of new people. Let me check my questions over here. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Red Claw, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Great, great. Thank you for that like, Rambo Randy. I appreciate it. But back to talking about directing. So, what you can do, and you just need two actors to start. And they don't have to be real actors. You can get two friends together and you can create some dialogue for them. You can even do improvised dialogue. I had a director friend who was actually a director who had sold films. He had actually worked as second unit camera. He passed away years ago, but he had worked as a second unit cameraman on some of James Cameron's movies in the early days when Cameron was starting out. But anyway, this is how he would direct. And it was really interesting. I never did it. I always thought I might, and one day I might give it a try. He would come up with the premise for the short film or the feature film, and then he would get some actors together, and he would work without a script. So he would make the scenes and create the dialogue as they were shooting. So he would whisper words to the actors off camera, and he was off camera, and he'd whisper words to the actors and tell them what to say, and then the actors would take a pause and they would respond, and then he would cut all of that together. So that was a weird, creative flow of consciousness way to create a short film, or like I said, feature films. He even created some scenes in his feature films that way, where he would improvise dialogue, but he wouldn't let the actors do the improvising of the dialogue. He would do it. He would give them the words to say. They'd pause, and then they'd say the words that he just said to them off camera. So that was a funny way to work. His name was Don Jackson. And he made a lot of B movies. One of his B movies that just comes to mind right now is something you could probably find online called Hell Comes to Frogtown. It was a B movie that he directed with kind of like near the Planet of the Apes days. I don't know where he got the mask from, but he had some frog mask, and he used that to have the actors pretend that they were like Planet of the Apes but frogs. But anyway, he did improvised films, and he would think of the dialogue as they were creating the scenes. Okay, he would say, okay, in this scene we're going to do this, and you say this, and you say that, and you say this, and you say that. So that was a way to work. That's what I'm saying. You can do the same thing if you're creating shorts and you're learning to be a director. You don't have to even sit down and take the time to write a script, but I recommend that you do. I always say work from a script, even if it's a sketchy script. The script can be can be an outline. It can be dialogue or just the direction. You need to know the direction for the actors, where the scene is going. So the scene should have a beginning, middle, and end. And you talk to your actors. You tell them, okay, for instance, I'm just looking now into my off camera. I'm looking into my kitchen area. And you can tell the actors, okay, Sharon, you walk in this door, you go to the refrigerator, you get the orange juice, you pour yourself a glass, and then you confront Bill about what he said to you last night. And you tell them what the conversation is going to be about so that the actors have some parameters. Actors are going to always need some parameters so they know when to end the scene. And so they will work through that scene. And you can rehearse it before you shoot it, or you can shoot the rehearsal. But the point is that you, as the director, because what I want to get across is that the director is a storyteller, not just a boss. So you have to tell a story, and you use your actors to tell that story. So the actors need to know where that story is going, even if it's just one scene, beginning, middle, and end. All scenes in your short or your feature film should have that, beginning, middle, and end. And the actors need to know that. So even if you're working unscripted, even if you're improvising scenes, you need to give them those boundaries so they know where to go. And you can rehearse it before you shoot it. And that way, you'll have a scene that makes sense, that the audience can follow. Let me take a look at some of the comments and see if I have any comments in here. Somebody subscribed. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. All right, great. So yes, that is the job of the director. And when you're talking about say for instance, you're talking about a 10-minute scripted film and you fully scripted it out, or you got a script from someone, or it's a script based on a play. The whole project globally has a beginning, middle, and end. Each scene should have a beginning, middle, and end. And the actors, by reading the script, they know where the scene is going, they know where it starts, they know where the middle is, and they know where the end is. And that way they can do a more believable performance. And you, as the storyteller, you can get your message across to the actors so they can effectively move the story forward. And if you think about it, any television show you watched, any movie you watched, each scene does that. It moves the story forward. It gives the viewer information that they need so they can understand the story. And that's where the main goal, I think that's the main goal of a director as a storyteller, is to be able to tell the story so that the viewers can understand what they're watching. Sometimes as a director and a storyteller, you may tell it out of order. Like right now, I'm editing a film for a filmmaker who made his script where it's out of order. So it's kind of like part flashback and part current day and part memory. So it's really creative, but overall, the whole story as a whole, when you step back after it's finished and you watch it, you'll realize, yes, it has a beginning, middle, and end, even though some of the elements, which are the scenes, are out of order. So that's a creative way you can tell a story. If you think of some of a Tarantino's earlier movies, he told the stories out of order, like Pulp Fiction. That was one of his best movies that I like that was out of order. And that's a creative choice that you can do. All the elements for the story are there. And you, as a director / storyteller, you know where it's going. And you've scripted it. You have the script. The script is your plan. The script is your roadmap. So that's what you follow. And then what you can do too, a lot of times what people do is they will shoot the script traditionally, and then in editing, they change the story around to make it more creative or more interesting. Myself as an editor, like I said in the beginning, I'm an actor, director, and editor. And a lot of times stories are made in the editing. You have it scripted one way, and then once you shoot it, you have all those elements you shot from the script. And then once you edit it, you can manipulate the story. You can move some scenes to the beginning. You can have some flashbacks. You can have some scenes that are teasers towards what's coming, like a hook. Like sometimes in a movie or a television show, you'll see an action scene in the beginning where maybe there's a big car crash and a shootout. And then all of a sudden, it'll cut to black and it'll say 6 months later, 6 months earlier. And then the movie will start. And it will lead up to that point where you saw the big crash. That could be somewhere near the end in the third act. So you're watching the story, but you know what's coming. You know one of the characters is going to get into a bad accident and they're going to have a shootout. So that's just a creative way to tell the story. But the director, as the storyteller, he or she, they have all those elements in mind. They've made these decisions. See, that's the thing. To tell great stories, to write great scripts, to write great television series, like I'm watching a television series that's been out for 4 years called the Morning Show. And most of it is great, really great writing, really great planning. And that's the key to storytelling, is planning what is going to happen next and laying down little bits of elements that lead later to the big final conclusion of the story or the series. A lot of times in television, for instance, you are following along in what's supposed to be present day, and then flashbacks come to show what happened before. Why is the character making these choices? And that's the same thing as storytelling. If you, as the storyteller, like the old days when they would sit around a campfire and we would tell stories, we would tell campfire stories. Most of the time you tell the story in a linear order, and there'd be some kind of hook at the end to scare the person. But there could be multiple scare points. You could start your story at the end and then go back to the beginning. Just like you'll see in a lot of films. You'll see that in television. You'll see that anywhere you have creative storytelling, it needs to be planned out, but the way you tell it as a storyteller can be mixed up, can be made more creative, can be made unique. there was a movie out years ago, probably like 15 years ago, where they told the story in reverse. And that was something kind of new, and worked really well. I watched the movie. It was forgot what it was called, irreversible, or something like that. But it was pretty good. And they told the story in reverse. That was kind of interesting. You've seen that. I've seen that, and they've done that a lot in television, where they tell stories in reverse. Or another thing that's interesting that storytellers can use, a storytelling device, is that they show both main characters' point of view. That's getting kind of popular. It's been kind of popular, where we as the viewers were watching the story from one character's point of view, and then they stop it, and then they start the same elements of story, the same beginning, middle, and end, but they tell it from the other character's point of view. And it's changed. Just like in real life. Sometimes you'll say something to somebody and they'll get upset, or they'll get sad, or they get hurt, their feelings get hurt, but you really honestly didn't mean it that way. And so that's a device they use in these television series that you see, where they tell it from two people's point of view. And mostly that's a device used in television. Again, storytelling devices. There are a lot of storytelling devices that the director can use to get his message across in the format of film or television, excuse me. And so let me grab a quick drink of water. I got a water cup back here. And as I'm doing that, I'm going to look to see if I see any questions. All right, great. Put my water cup back. Sorry about that. Excuse me. When I start talking a lot, I gotta get a little bit of water in there. So yeah, that's a good story device. Let's talk a little bit about understanding the script. Now, as a director, that's a big thing. The director has to really understand the script. He has to understand all the elements, the beats, the tone, the theme, all that he has to understand that before starting the film. Because there are a lot of elements in a story. Like I said, there are a lot of elements that are used to tell a story. And those elements are very important to make sure they're coming across, so that as the viewer is watching it, if you're giving out a little hint about something that's going to happen later, if you're laying down a key point that will drive the story later, or you're revealing a clue as to why a character did something, or what is this character's motivation. So those are all the types of elements that a director must understand, so that he can explain to the actors, so that he can motivate the actors, so that he can make sure that his direction is guiding the script where it needs to go, so that the story is entertaining, number one. The story is clear to understand. Even if you're trying to mislead, as far as being the storyteller, you want to mislead the audience down one road. I know you've all seen that, where, say for instance, it's a whodunit, and the director and the script writer will, at some point, make some characters look guilty, make some characters look like they may be involved in the plot or the situation, and they will make those characters say something or do something that makes you, as the audience, us as the viewers, think, oh, he done it, he did it, she did it, he did it, he did it. And so they'll set it up where one character will say something, or one character will do something, or some character will be somewhere, and it's kind of like misdirection. And that gets you hooked into the story. And you start thinking, as the viewer, well, who did this? Let's see if I can figure it out. And you are trying to solve the mystery as you watch the story. So that's just another way for the director as the storyteller, and the scriptwriter as the storyteller, to grab the audience and pull them in by giving them little clues, even if they're false clues, that of who's the perpetrator, who's the criminal, who's the bank robber, who is setting each other up. And so those are great little tools that you can use as a director or a writer to give your story another level. And the director has to understand all that. The director has to understand, as he's reading it, him or her, as they're reading it, what's important that the viewer has to grab onto. What are these little tips that we want the viewer to see before we get to the final frame and everything is revealed. Remember, all stories need to have a beginning, middle, and end. And that is what the viewer expects. A lot of viewers, like myself, hate those stories that sometimes directors will do. It has a beginning, middle, and end, but the end is just cut to black. And they don't resolve any of the main issues in the story. I don't like that sometimes. I understand it. It's a creative choice sometimes if you want to make a slice of life kind of movie where you're just showing, hold on one second. Let's see here. Hello, Red Claw. I subscribed. Thank you. Thank you. Just seeing if I was getting any more messages. Because what I want to do is make sure I pay attention to people who are coming on asking questions. Again, I'm going to restate this. This is Sunday Live, James Adam Tucker, unedited with James Adam Tucker. Go to my channel below if you haven't. Please subscribe. I appreciate that. And then also look at some of the playlists. I have lots of content in my playlist. I've been building it, giving you educational material, humorous material, some dramatic material of content that I've created for the YouTube channel. And I'm going to continue to do that. I was just in talks. I'm going to jump off of my topic now and just do a little bit of talking about a project that I have coming up. I like to do that too. I have a project coming up, a humorous project. It's going to be one of my first humorous projects here, created exclusively for YouTube. YouTube first, original. It's going to be vertical. Initially, I was planning to shoot it just vertical, but the writer slash actress I'm working with asked if there was a possibility that we could shoot it vertical and horizontal. And I told her yes. It wasn't something that I planned to do. I'm probably just going to do it with her because she asked for it. It's something that I haven't done before. And I want to talk about that a little bit before I close up today. What I plan to do, something different, is I ordered a tripod mount, a specialized tripod mount that can mount 2 cameras at once. So I'll have one camera on the right, one camera on the left. What I plan to do is have the camera probably on my left will be the primary camera. And that will be, I haven't made this final decision yet, but the camera on my left will be my primary camera, and that will be my horizontal camera. And the camera on my right will be my vertical camera. So I'll probably, if I'm thinking about this, I actually have it. I just received the adapter, the mount for my tripod, and it fit perfectly, and it feels good and stable. So I'll have the primary camera, like I said, mounted on my left, and I will probably position that in the position to be the central camera, like I'm talking to you right now. So the tripod and camera and image will line up. And then I'll have which I haven't tried yet, the horizontal camera on the right, on my right, and that will probably be pivoted slightly towards the central image, slightly left towards the central image. Now, I don't want to go too much because I don't want to be off axis, which I haven't tested yet. So this is something I need to test. And I plan on testing that. I might even test that today. I'm not sure yet. Depending upon how I feel later, I might bring this rig downstairs and do a little test. I haven't done this yet. So I have both cameras mounted and I'm rolling. And we shoot both scenes. We shoot one scene and we shoot it horizontal and vertical at the same time. Now, traditionally, what you would do, and I had thought about it at first, I would just, shoot each shot, each scene twice. But that could be kind of cumbersome, and it's going to slow us down. I want to try this out where I can shoot the horizontal and the vertical at the same time. So I think the horizontal is going to be easier for me to make a slight adjustment. I might, as I'm talking to you about it, I'm even reconsidering that, because the horizontal shot, like I'm doing right now for you here on this live stream, I'm doing a horizontal live stream, which is showing up in your shorts feed. That's how you're discovering me. And I don't have, as I look at the frame, I don't have that much room to make adjustments. So my best bet, I need to test this out, but my best bet might be to make the adjustment on the horizontal shot, because I'll have more room on the left and right to adjust the frame if I need to make the shot correct, as if both cameras were center camera. So this is something I haven't tried before, and it needs to be tested. I'm going to set up both cameras. One camera is the A6500. These are both Sony cameras, 4K cameras, and the other is the Sony FX30, both 4K cameras. And I'll probably, as I'm thinking about it now, I'll probably try both ways. I think that's the best bet. So I'll have both cameras on the camera rig, which holds two cameras on my tripod, and I'll see how much offset there is between both shots. So that's something I'm interested in trying out that I haven't done before. Like I said, I've been in this business for 35 years, shooting and editing, and shooting with two cameras at once is something I haven't done on a production. I can't even remember if I ever. No, I never had this rig, so there was no way I would set up two cameras. I might have had two cameras set up on separate tripods, but never two cameras on one tripod, and seeing how the offset is. That's something I really need to see. So I'll be working on that today. And as I wrap up today, I want to thank everyone for coming by to my Sunday Live. I enjoyed coming on here. If I get any questions, I answer them. Meet you guys. That's a great way for me to meet you guys, talk about my channel, get the message out, ask you to come look at some of my playlists, help me build up those watch hours, which are slowly crawling up. I'm getting close to breaking 900 subscribers. So I'm getting close. I want to thank you. Hello. Has somebody came by? Greta Garb. Is it Greta Garbo? Hello, Greta. Hello. Greta. Hello. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. If you guys have a chance, go to my channel, check out some of the other content I have there. I have a bunch of content there, and I'd like you to take a look at it. I'm creating more original content with actors and actresses. I want to do a lot of comedy. I want to bring more comedy back here to YouTube. I want to create vertical series. At first I thought I saw Greta. I'm not sure. Are you the Greta that I met years ago? Some production that we were shooting. I'm not sure, but hello anyway. Thanks for stopping by. I want to create more humorous content, and I want to have that humorous content here on YouTube. I'm working with a number of actors and actresses, and I'm creating original content. If you're in the Los Angeles area and you're interested in working with me, feel free to go to my channel, get my email, and reach out to me. I love talking to people about working together. Collaboration is the key to this business. And I learned that years ago. And that's one thing I did right in this business. The reason I was able to direct so many projects is that I constantly collaborate with other filmmakers. And I help them out. They work with me, I work with them. And I love to collaborate. It's a collaborative effort. Even the big A pictures, obviously, people collaborate. I mean, they're being paid to collaborate, obviously, but they collaborate because they enjoy working together. No one filmmaker knows it all. No one director knows it all. No one screenwriter knows it all. Even the big guys. That's why you see they always work with talented people who can bring something to the project. And that's what I love to do. I love to work with young writers. I love to work with young directors, filmmakers, all types of collaboration. And that's why I'm back here on YouTube. I've been expanding already. If you check my workout on my YouTube channel, find a link down here, you can see that I've already been collaborating with a number of people. So I want to continue that. I want to build this channel up, not just with all my work, but also with the collaborations and the efforts of other people who we work together. And I want to create more humorous content. I want to bring that back to YouTube. That's one thing that I think is sorely missing. I see some, but I don't see enough. I want to make this a place where you can come and you can watch vertical content, series. You can watch horizontal content, series that were made exclusively here for YouTube. So thanks for stopping by today. I'm happy that we're able to spend this time together. I'll be back again on Monday. I'm always in. I'm not here for that long on the vertical live during the week. I just get on and I usually give you a tip right up front. I love to give tips up front during the week on the vertical live, and then I do a little bit of talking. But I put the tip, something valuable that is either related to acting, directing, or editing. That's my wheelhouse. That's the area that I get on here and talk about. And I enjoy it. It's a great outlet for me to get all this information out and give it away to you guys. So, what's that? What did you say, Greta? The zipper? That was just a zipper to my my sweater. That's funny. What's the zipper do? But thanks for stopping by. Again, go to my channel, find my email address, and reach out. I love answering email. I reach out to people. I love reaching out to people and talking. If you want to talk, we can talk. I love that. I love making connection. I love building the audience. That's my reason I'm here. So feel free to reach out to me. And there's plenty of ways to contact me. Email's there, and I will definitely respond. And you have a great day. All right. So that's going to be it for now. Thanks for joining me on this Sunday. I'll be back again next Sunday at noon. Always here Sundays at noon, answering your questions and answers. And then I talk about acting, directing, and editing. So if you look at my stuff and you like it, please share it with someone. Please watch some of the stuff I have on my playlists. Something for everyone, as they say. I'll see you next time. Have a good day.